Hey everyone, welcome back to this Tosca automation playlist. And today I'm going to talk about another interesting topic, which or feature which is available in Tosca. Now, many a times we need to encode or decode some text or some value in our test automation suite, right? So something like the passwords, the usernames, or the environment details, the DB password or the username, right? So there are many things which you probably need to encode or decode as part of your security concerns around the whole test automation suite. Or even maybe you need to encode or decode some test data, right? So in this kind of cases, you can use one of the string operations, which is available in Tosca to encode and decode any particular text. So let me show you how you can do this in Tosca. So for this purpose, I'm going to use this particular page, okay? And it has got some username and password, right? And to log in, we need this username and password. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to encode this username and encode this password, and then I'm going to decode it, okay? So first of all, what I have done, I have stored this username and password right here, okay? And it is stored in the configuration parameters for this particular test case. So first of all, I'm going to create a test step and I'm going to use the tbox set buffer, okay? So this will set a buffer value for the encoded values, okay? And I'm going to name this to encode underscore username. And in this value, we need to now write the expression which can basically encode a particular string, which is in our case is a username. Okay. So let me explain you what I have done here. So we are using this base64 expression, okay, which basically allows us to encode. There is also at the end of this expression, there is a parameter called encode. And what we want to encode, so that's our text, which is a configuration parameter in terms of the username. Okay, so using this, it is going to encode it in the base64 format. Okay, and the same we can do for password. What I need to do is just copy this, or I can also type it, but to just make it more faster, I'll just copy it and change it to password. Okay. So this is basically going to encode our username and password. So let's quickly run this and see if it is working or not. Okay, so the test has passed, and now in the log info, you will be able to see the encoded value of this username. Okay, so this is the encoded value. It's some random string which has been generated to basically mask the particular username. Okay, so when this data travels over or when it is used for test automation, you will be seeing this encoded username. And then there is also an encoded password, so you don't need to actually show your actual password. You can use this encoded password, right? Now, in order to use it in a particular test, right, we need the actual values. Otherwise, if I go ahead and use it in this particular login form, it is probably going to fail, right? So for that, again, I can add the same test step, which is tbox set buffer. Okay, and then I'm going to name this buffer as decode username, and I will again have another one for decode password. Okay, and the expression, okay, so it will be pretty much similar. Let me show you how you can write this. So you write base64 and then you start the square brackets, and under this we are not going to use the configuration parameter because we need to pass a string which is already encoded. Okay, so we have to use this particular buffer. So we'll use encode underscore username, and then we need to pass the parameter decode here so that it will be decoded. Okay, so that's what we have to do. Again, for password, we have to do the same, and password. Okay, uh, so that's the thing you need to do. Let's run this quickly to check whether it is working or not. Okay, so it failed. Let's check what's wrong here. Okay, so instead of the buffer, I used a text. Okay, so which is not a encoded text. So obviously that will fail. So let me correct this. B underscore. So we'll start with the buffer, which is B, and then square brackets, and we will use the encode username here. Okay, and then this. The same we will do for password. Okay, so let's try one more time. This time it should pass. Okay, so this is now going to decode our actual encoded username and password, and it's going to return us the same value which we stored in the configuration parameter. Okay, maybe I did not change this. Sorry about that. Let me change it to password, but it should work still the same, right? Okay, so it has decoded the username and password, and we have seen how it encodes the username and password. Now you will ask me, why do we need to do this, right? So this is not the best possible example I could give you, but I wanted to show you how you can encode and decode strings in Tosca. This could be useful in some scenarios. So probably in a real-time scenario, you would not be encoding and decoding the same strings in the same test. Probably you should have some encoded text, okay, which is maybe a buffer or some other value which has been provided to you, and then you are going to use that in the test. So at that time, you can maybe use the decode function, right? And sometimes maybe after you get some values from the application, right? Maybe you're testing an application and the application has returned you some order ID or some customer information, right? Which you need to encode and store it. So that time you can use the encode function. Okay, so don't take this example as literally what you need to do. You need to apply these functions at different places. Okay, so you need to apply encode where you want to encode a particular string, and you need to apply decode when you want to decode a particular string. Okay, so this I find it a very useful function because we need this at some places during test automation. So that's all for this particular video. I hope you liked it and you learned something new today. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. If you want to watch more similar videos, please do subscribe to our channel. And until we meet again, keep learning Tosca and keep watching our channel.